5 on your side at 10 starts now.
Our weather impact alert continues for tomorrow. Even though we've seen some storms in areas around St. Louis tonight, there are more thunderstorms possible tomorrow, and tomorrow's storms could be strong to severe for some of us. All of us have to deal with heat later in the week. Your weather impact alert update coming up.
Building back the block.
We need people coming out for the long haul.
From tornado devastation to tonight's celebration in the Del Mar Maker District. Curbing teen violence.
What are these kids doing?
The growing concerns tonight of another summer of chaos in St. Louis in the wake of a tragic weekend. We start tonight at 10 and a weather impact alert. Right now, a line of showers and storms is moving towards St. Louis. A second round tomorrow afternoon could turn severe. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush.
And I'm Kelly Jackson. The impacts tomorrow: hail, strong winds, and even a tornado. That all depends on what develops overnight. So let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Conlon with the latest tracking and timing, Scott.
Yeah, right. You know, at the moment we're tracking a severe thunderstorm that really has just become severe over the last 15 to 20 minutes. It was strong coming across parts of St. Charles County, but we've been looking here in Edwardsville, and there's been a fair amount of lightning with this storm as it's moving into Alton right now, moving out of West Alton. Really, it's north of 270 here. So as you go into far north St. Louis County, once you cross over the Missouri River, that's where we start to get the gusty winds into St. Charles County. And then once you cross the Mississippi River, those gusty winds are now pushing in towards the Alton area, including at Alton Memorial Hospital right now. Should be over in Bethalto by about 10:07 and over towards Dorsey, which is in this severe thunderstorm warning as we head towards about 10:13. Now you watch this thing. The whole storm's actually started rotating here in the last hour or so pretty well. And so with that in mind, those are the kind of storms that tend to spin something up, even though the environment's not overly favorable for it. So just stay inside. It looks like it's beginning to start its weakening process here, but stay inside away from windows and doors. And that's not even the main storm. You know, we're still watching thunderstorms developing out into Kansas, Oklahoma, parts of Nebraska. How all of this mess out here evolves through the overnight hours is going to determine what we end up with tomorrow. And odds are it's going to push the greatest severe weather threat just a little farther south of St. Louis, but we can't guarantee that. So we'll stay on our weather impact alert for tomorrow. Just make sure you're staying weather aware. Jim will be here tomorrow morning with the updates, of course, because a lot of what happens between 3 and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning will dictate what happens between 3 and 7 o'clock tomorrow evening and where. We'll see in a few minutes.
And we will keep you up to date on tomorrow's weather impact alert, both on air and on our 5+ streaming app. It is free to download and watch on your Roku, Apple, or Fire TV. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355, and we will send the forecast right to your phone.
Crews are on the scene of a crash that has traffic backed up on 270 in North St. Louis County. Right now, all eastbound lanes of 270 at Old Halls Ferry are closed. We're told at least 3 cars are involved, 1 overturned. No word yet on any injuries. Just hours ago, the popular local band The Urge and other musicians hit all the right notes for St. Louis storm victims. 5 on your side's Brent Solomon, just back from the relief concert in the Del Mar Maker District. Brent.
That's right, guys. It's called Build Back the Block, the tornado relief concert organized to donate $50,000 towards relief efforts after the tornado. And organizers made it clear this is only a small step in what's sure to be a long road of everyone doing their part to bring the city back.
I love horns.
When a melody has meaning, it becomes so much more than the music.
I haven't been down here yet to see it for myself, so I've seen it on TV and on Facebook and everything, but it's different when you see it in person.
The destruction along Del Mar leaving so many neighbors and businesses in limbo. Steve's Hot Dogs and the fountain on Del Mar both had to close after damage. They're now back open, but the owners realize not all businesses in the area are able to do the same.
I think people really rally behind the idea of helping one block. You know, they can really move the needle tonight with their donations, trying to restore, relocate, rebuild the businesses right here on this block.
It's why the owners organized this tornado relief concert right on their premises. A free event where people can donate money to Del Mar Main Street, an economic engine supporting small businesses. Even the mayor on hand to mingle and thank supporters for believing in the mission.
It's the community that has pulled up our city, and it is the community that is going to make our city phenomenal again.
A concert for a cause. Although organizers want you to know the support can't stop once the music does.
We need people coming out for the long haul, changing their traffic patterns, and really intentionally supporting North St. Louis and the Del Mar Maker District.
Because that's how you truly rebuild the block.
Tell you a little bit about our neighborhood.
And the Funky Butt Brass Band and friends also hit the stage tonight. After the tornado, by the way, Steve's Hot Dogs got to work providing free meals for storm survivors. The business is now trying to replenish funds for that mission to continue making meals for other people in need.
More relief tonight for St. Louis tornado victims. Today, the St. Louis Board of Aldermen passed a bill to use RAM settlement money to help in recovery efforts. The bill uses $30 million in interest from the settlement to help relocate storm survivors.
It includes home repair, relocation assistance, item storage, help on meeting insurance deductibles and legal aid, infrastructure repair, support for our nonprofits that have been on the front lines.
Mayor Kara Spencer says it's imperative storm victims file with their insurance and for federal assistance first.
There is no limit to the FEMA assistance through the individual assistance package. So we are fully encouraging folks to go that route first.
For more information on filing for federal assistance, you just text FEMA to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link.
Tonight, a man is charged with second-degree murder, accused of stabbing a man in the heart with a machete. Prosecutors charge Brian Washington today. The deadly attack happened last Thursday in Ferguson outside a liquor store at the corner of West Florissant and Capel Drive. Investigators say surveillance video shows Washington approaching the victim and pulling the machete out of his pants. He is held on a $1 million bond. Concerns are still growing tonight after a violent weekend in downtown St. Louis.
Police say several shootings left teens injured or killed, and with summer just days away, parents are already telling 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend they've had enough.
We already have like a tragedy, and it don't make no sense.
A disheartened Brittany Holman is talking about a wild fight that quickly escalated near her loft building on Washington Avenue. Police say shortly after 1 Sunday morning, 2 groups fought during a party at a short-term rental apartment, and then gunshots rang out. At least 6 people were shot. A 16-year-old boy and a 29-year-old woman were hit by cars. The teen died.
They need to stop the violence.
Holman shared these photos of windows at her loft building shattered when the bullets flew.
And I'm too, oh my God, ashamed to even say that I stay down here.
That was one of 4 weekend crimes downtown or close by. About 2 hours after the violence on Wash Ave, police found 3 people shot in a car in the Columbus Square neighborhood. 16-year-old Octavius Harris of East St. Louis died. A 17-year-old male and an 18-year-old female taken to a hospital. Investigators say it appears when the teens left a party, 2 people shot at their cars as they drove away. Police say so far this year, more than 24 minors have been shot in St. Louis. And we also came here to 9th and O'Fallon to try to talk to parents about their concerns. Not one wanted to go on camera, fearing for their safety.
We really need parents' help. We really need their help because we cannot police our way out of these issues.
The police department recently opened a new substation on Tucker. Armed bike patrol officers will work here and patrol downtown. And the city recently opened rec centers in hopes of offering teens safe spaces this summer.
Do something about all this violence.
Violence that's pushed Brittany Holman to pack up.
Oh my God, I'm out of here.
And that was Robert Townsend. St. Louis police tell 5 on Your Side they are reevaluating their resources. That may include putting more officers downtown this weekend.
Heads up for drivers in South St. Louis County. A major construction project is expected to snarl traffic on I-55 over the Merrimack River. Tonight, MoDOT held a public meeting to inform drivers of the scope of the $17.8 million project. The construction area will run for 2 miles between Merrimack Bottom and Route 141.
This project is going to extend the life of these bridges. We're not fully replacing these bridges, but we're looking at getting to 25 to 30 years out of this project.
Construction will begin later this year. It's expected to be complete in 2027. Tonight, people in St. Louis County are now able to text 911 in an emergency. The way the system works is simple. If you text 911, dispatchers are immediately made aware and will start asking questions about the type of help you need and if there are any weapons involved. Internal data shows it takes up to 6 minutes to respond to a 911 text versus just 2 minutes to respond to a call, but dispatchers say it's best used by those in domestic violence situations.
Within the last 2 hours, a prideful celebration wrapped up at St. Louis City Hall. Members and allies of the LGBTQIA+ community gathered in the Rotunda tonight for the 2025 Pride celebration. City leaders say it's important to open the doors of City Hall to all St. Louisans.
We want people to know that here in St. Louis City, we welcome you, we love you, and we know you're here to stay.
St. Louis Pride Fest is set for the weekend of June 29th, and 5 on Your Side will stream the Grand Pride Parade on June 30th on 5+. Coverage begins at noon.
Spending summer vacation on the front lines of devastation.
I feel sad for those that had to go through that tragic situation.
Tonight, the local teens volunteering their time in the tornado aftermath.
What the people gonna do now? Maybe that's why we gotta come together and help.
Showing the true spirit of St. Louis.
The potential of severe weather has us in a weather impact alert for Wednesday, and big heat for the first time this year builds into the bi-state this weekend. How hot it gets and the threats that come with that heat.
Tonight, the conflict between Iran and Israel is escalating, and President Trump is urging an unconditional surrender by Iran. NBC News is reporting that the president is considering a possible U.S. strike on Iran, possibly an effort to take out a critical reactor deep in a mountain in order to cripple their nuclear enrichment program. The president's message comes after urging Iranians to flee. Just hours ago, a procession was held for Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband, Mark.
Their bodies were transported from the medical examiner's office to a funeral home in Minneapolis. The Hortmans were shot and killed in their home over the weekend in what authorities call a politically motivated attack. Funeral arrangements have not been made public. Minnesota State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were also shot but survived. The suspect, John Bolter, is being held on a $5 million bond. Investigators say inside his car and home they found several firearms, ammo, and a list of other potential targets. He faces several state and federal charges.
Tonight, members on both sides of the aisle and the U.S. Senate are calling for more funding and enhanced security measures for all lawmakers. They also say it's time to tone down the rhetoric and condemn hatred.
The threat to public officials and their families is very real and very widespread. There's a lot being done that is not being reported and won't be reported, but there's more that has to be done.
We can work together to turn down the temperature here. We can disagree with each other without implying that the other person ought to have violence inflicted on them.
Today on X, Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski of Illinois revealed she was informed by Capitol Police that her name was one of the many names included in the Minnesota suspect's notes. She added, quote, "There is absolutely no place in this country for political violence. We must be a nation that values civility and mutual respect always."
Tonight, an ice cream shop in central Illinois is out of business. A large portion of a Baskin-Robbins in Springfield collapsed after a minivan crashed into the building. One person was taken to the hospital. No word on the extent of their injuries. The cause of the crash is under investigation. The spirit of service has risen out of the massive destruction left behind by the May 16th tornado.
And new tonight, 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend shows us how many of those now pitching in to help are St. Louis teens.
17-year-old twins Lauren and Lawrence Woods are on the front line for something dear to their hearts. Cleaning up this tornado-torn area in North St. Louis.
What I like about it is how we get to help the community. We get to learn skills, how to be responsible, how to help each other.
It makes me feel happy because I'm helping out people that lost everything.
The May 16th EF3 tornado destroyed thousands of homes, businesses, and vacant buildings, especially in North City.
Houses getting ripped, destroyed all around you. Like, I feel sad for those that had to go through that tragic situation.
What the people gonna do now? That's why we gotta come together and help.
The Twins teamed up with about a dozen other teams from the Urban League's Federation of Block Units program to trim trees, remove debris, and spruce up the neighborhood after the storm.
The tornado really wrecked a lot of people's lives, and it just made me really sad.
Cardinal Ritter College Prep sophomore Tristan Catron is also right there with her mom, helping out at the Urban League's drive-through donation site. Volunteers collect, organize, and pass out food, toiletries, and other much-needed supplies to tornado survivors.
I just like being able to help anybody that's in need.
Oh, I'm so proud. They understand all walks of life. They understand that things, like I said, can happen to anybody. And I want to make sure that they are grateful for what they have.
You can look around these tornado-ravaged neighborhoods and see right now there's still so much work that needs to be done. Teenagers I talked to hope more young people will get inspired and come out and help.
I feel like it builds character.
We're gonna keep coming together and help each other, and we're just gonna keep pushing forward as a team.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
If your team would like to volunteer with the Urban League's tornado relief efforts, just call the organization. That number is 314-391-5688.
And Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is back with the weather impact forecast. We have some severe thunderstorm warnings popping up, hopefully about to expire.
Yeah, just the one right now that's moving into Madison County and Illinois. Now, we know it had to produce some damage in North St. Louis County because we've seen St. Louis County and St. Charles County with some power outages. This is looking in Edwardsville right now. You can see the flags blowing a little bit. The trees were actually whipping up just a little bit more here a few minutes ago with the wind blowing in. But the storm itself is starting to weaken a bit as it pushes towards Bethalto right now and towards Edwardsville. The strongest part of this is in and around the Bethalto area. And so really now that's moving out of St. Charles and St. Louis counties and more into Madison County. And the whole storm, you can see, while it continues to kind of spin here, it's lost a lot of its punch. So it's not producing the wind it was. But we do think here in North St. Louis County, especially as you go up towards Cross Keys and up towards New Halls Ferry, up in that area here, Shackelford, New Halls Ferry, there's a fair number of power outages in that region and some around St. Charles too as this storm produced some gusty winds. So that's separate from what's happening tomorrow. There's your severe weather threat tomorrow. That'll get revised overnight tonight. We have our weather impact alert for the potential of strong to severe thunderstorms tomorrow. But here's the thing. We can't guarantee tomorrow's outcomes at this point because tonight's thunderstorm activity to the west of us is going to determine what happens here. So look at the storms that are evolving tonight across Oklahoma, Kansas, back into parts of Nebraska. These storms will form a complex. They'll be moving in from the west here tonight. How much of this makes it to our area before it falls apart, and what kind of boundary does it set down? Because it'll put down a boundary that'll be different than the actual front itself. So as we head into the wee hours tomorrow morning, there's a chance we'll get some scattered showers again. I think our severe weather threat's pretty much winding down for this evening's little cluster of storms as it moves away. And then tomorrow, you would think we would see the activity develop perhaps in southeast Missouri. But this latest run of the model, and this is a trend, pushes it even farther east and leaves what develops right along the front back here to not be quite as strong. And so that may be what we're dealing with coming into tomorrow. Beyond that, we're dealing with heat. And we're in the mid-90s here as we head into Saturday and Sunday, both days. Both afternoons will feature triple-digit heat indices around the region. So we'll be talking about excessive heat this weekend for sure. And that becomes more of an issue health-wise because we had just today our first 90-degree day, 91 for the high today. And that's the first of the year. So our body's not at all used to heat and humidity. Before we get there, though, we have to deal with tomorrow and that potential for strong to severe thunderstorms. It'll depend on what happens during the overnight hours. And, you know, the funny thing about this forecast is I can tell you that there's a chance of thunderstorms tomorrow, but I can't guarantee much about what will happen tomorrow. But I guarantee you it'll be hot Saturday, Sunday, Monday. and the heat index will be in the triple digits. That part of the forecast is locked in. There's no question
It's an absolute.
about that.
And stay tuned to 5 on your side and 5 Plus for what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll have updates on 5 Plus through tomorrow.
And Scott, meteorologist Jim Castillo, as Scott just mentioned, will be providing that expanded coverage all day on Wednesday. And you can watch for free on Roku, Apple, Fire, and Samsung TV. And Frank and Sports are coming up next.
Here's the thing you must understand about the Cardinals beating up on the White Sox. It counts the same as beating the Yankees. This is not college basketball where defeating good teams means more. So get the sweep, come on home, and play the Reds. Now, all Brendan Donovan does is hit 4 hits tonight. The average up to 323. That RBI single made it 2-1 in the second. Here's another hitter, Ivan Herrera. This is not exactly a rocket, but it plates 2, and the Cardinals led it 5-1. Herrera had 4 RBIs tonight. I don't think the Cardinals can contend unless Matthew Liberatore is elite. He was earlier in the season. Tonight, 6 innings, 2 runs, and 4 Ks. And one more hitter you gotta see, Alec Burleson. The man is on fire. 3 hits tonight, including that bomb, and the Cardinals blast the White Sox 12-2. Tonight, Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final, and there's just something magical about Chaminade High School. Another year and another Chaminade kid wins the championship. The Panthers strike first on a positively outrageous play by Sam Reinhart. Backhand, forehand, 1-0 Panthers. Then, under a minute to go in the first, and Matthew Tkachuk, the pride of Chaminade, who's been on fire himself, stays on fire with that rocket. Now, Reinhart added 3 more goals tonight, 4 total, 7 in the series. 2 were empty netters. Sam Bennett won the Conn Smythe, and the Panthers have gone back-to-back with a 5-1 victory. And here's the moment we've all been waiting to see. Our local kid, Matthew Tkachuk, lifting that Stanley Cup one more time, 359 days later with Keith watching.
This one's more rewarding to me, just everything personally, what I had to overcome, didn't know if I was going to be playing, and it just shows how unbelievable our group is, the depth, everything, and then allowing me to kind of get my footing throughout the playoffs, and then I owe a lot. I owe a lot of people a lot of, thank yous.
What a story. So I am a prisoner of the moment kind of guy. I went to SLU basketball practice today, saw all the new players they purchased in the portal, and I got to tell you, I can't ever remember a SLU team with this kind of talent. One of the players from the portal is this specimen from Quinnipiac, Paul Otieno. He's a chiseled 6'8", 230. Last season, he averaged 14 points and 10 rebounds a game. He will be a power forward playing right next to Robbie Avila. You put your name in the portal, and how quickly before you hear from Josh Schertz?
The same day. We have the same day. I was like, St. Louis, I know this guy. So I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Paul was a guy that once he went in the portal, that we were on it. That was the first commitment. We got him here immediately. I would have, jogged down to Connecticut to go pick him up, but he was somebody we felt like was a must-have.
It was Horse Hooky Tuesday at Fairmount Park, and thousands were there today to take in the new and improved facility. There's a brand new casino, brand new restaurant, and upgrades everywhere you look. And this is only phase 1 of a project aimed to transform this 100-year-old track into a must-visit destination in the Metro East.
By the time we get finished with everything, phase 2 will be $100 million, and the hopes that phase 3 will be a hotel added as well, but lots more amenities, things that you would expect with a full casino property. We want this to be an entertainment destination. We want folks to be able to come out here, know that they're having a safe time, know that it's going to be customer-facing things are going to be friendly, and our folks will be helpful to them, and we want it just to be a good atmosphere and a good experience for everybody.
There's another Mizzou Tiger headed to the NFL. Kicker Harrison Mevis has reportedly signed to join former Missouri teammates Brady Cook and Ahmad Membu with the New York Jets. He kicked in the UFL this past season, going 20 for 21 in field goal opportunities for the Birmingham Stallions. So a lot of Mizzou Tigers up in New York.
All right, Frank, thanks. We'll be right back.
A new brew tonight from Urban Chestnut and the St. Louis Zoo, the 2025 STL Zoo Beer features the King Penguin. Cans of the light American lager are now available at the zoo and area stores. $3 for every case sold will go toward the zoo's animal care and conservation efforts.
A double take for some Texas dads. When they showed up to church on Father's Day, their wives bought all of them the same polo shirt. The dads all got a good laugh when they realized 200 of them were all sporting the same look. And Scott has a final check of the weather impact forecast.
I can see that happening.
Yeah.
I really can. All right, weather-wise this evening, the warning, that's been dropped now for Madison County as the storms weaken quite a bit here. This wave passes us by. We have another chance early tomorrow morning of seeing some showers and non-severe rumbles of thunder. And then tomorrow afternoon, odds are the greatest threat for severe weather south and east of St. Louis. Again, we'll have updates on 5+, generally at the bottom of the hour and top of the hour.
There you have it, 5 on your side at 10. We're always streaming on 5+.
Have a great evening.